Step aside. So excited. I'll get out of the doorway. So excited to have you here. Thank you.
We're excited to be here too. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Greg Boswell, Executive Vice President of Global Sales here at OC Tanner's Global Sales Kickoff for 2020. It's been a fantastic week. We've recognized a number of our salespeople for their fantastic achievements in 2019 and had several sessions and talked about growth and opportunity coming forward in 2020. Our theme this year, Double Down, in 2020 is an opportunity to focus on preparation and insight and synergy and drive, and we're really excited today to have Sales Gravy here to talk about our prospecting efforts and what we can do to be better prepared in target account planning. Looking forward to a great day with the Sales Gravy team, and here we go, OC Tanner in 2020. Let's make it happen.
Delivering keynote speeches and training programs to high-performing teams and leaders across the globe. Through his global training organization, Sales Gravy, Jeb advises a who's who of the world's most well-known organizations and their executives on the impact of emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills on customer-facing activities. His flagship website, salesgravy.com, is the most visited sales-specific website on the planet. So without any further introduction, we'll go ahead and welcome Jeb Blount.
To start off, we're going to do a team exercise. And what I want you to do is tell me, what are your biggest challenges, roadblocks, issues? What are your biggest challenges with new business development?
You know, we've had a lot of change over the last few years. There's been a cultural shift in really going from an entrepreneurial style sales force where everyone was just kind of siloed and doing their own thing, to trying to bring it into a better insight over helping and coaching and making sure that we have the skill set outside of the individual siloed offices. About 2 years ago, we really started to make that transition shift to we need to start measuring our KSMs, what we consider key success metrics, but KPIs, what other people would call those same things. And we need to just have more rigor and more discipline around that. And so as we were planning for these sales meetings this year, and we usually start that process, you know, a year in advance, we started to look at, you know, we've had a lot of internal voices. We've had a lot of people saying what we believe are the right things, but we need someone that can come in and share some stories with other companies and some outside credibility and be able to be maybe a little bit more bold than anyone can get away with internally. Not so much that it offends or that it upsets people, but that it makes them think. And Jeb has a license to do that because of his credibility, because of authorship and things that he's done. You know, he can maybe get away with calling the baby ugly a little bit more than some of us can. And so as we vetted speakers and as we looked at that, for us, he was the key choice from the beginning, and completely solidified that today.
Say, send me some information.
Send me some information.
You say, I'll be glad to send you some information. All the information comes attached to me. How about Thursday at 2? Now, let me give you the warning on this one, okay? So this one, like you need to be this high in order to use this, okay? So the thing about that particular objection turnaround is it only works when you are so confident that nothing can touch you. And you're gonna get two results. The person is either gonna laugh or they're gonna hang up on you. And there's nothing else in the middle.
I mean, I've been putting events like this together for more than a decade, so every time we think that we have it down, there's a new niche. There's always a huge push from the field to make sure that we're bringing in subject matter experts from the field and bringing in our best salespeople and really sharing our best practices, not having it just be a training by the training team, but really facilitating the best efforts and the best thought leadership from the organization. So when we knew that we wanted to bring in outside talent and outside expertise, I reached out to Brooke, who was my account manager there, and the response was super fast. I mean, I think within 24 hours she had gotten back with me and said, tell me a little bit more about what you need to. I think I reached out initially on the website to get the contact information, and she came right back, and it was easy to find, and engaged really quickly. Told me about, well, here's what our options, gave me an outline of what content would look like, gave me also some options of here's some typical flavors that Jeb typically takes, some typical topics, but we can custom build that to what you want, so tell us what your goals are. And then it wasn't long after that she got Jason and Keith and Jeb involved in more of that conversation, more of the discovery process to make sure that we felt good. I had expressed some concerns about past speakers and people that maybe just didn't hit the mark, and so we were a little gun shy here, and they were fantastic to put our minds at ease and to remind us that, hey, we're Southern gentlemen too. We don't want to come in and be shock jocks, but we do want to come in and push the envelope just enough.
In fact, send me some information.
Send me some information.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you're interested in our information. Like you say it like no one has ever asked you for that ever before. Information. I want you to pay attention to the voice inflection. But the thing is, as much information as we have, and as busy as you are, the last thing I want to do is completely overwhelm you. The words matter here, okay? So I'm just curious, what specific information would you like to see? A brain game, all a brain game.
You know, depending upon your culture, speakers are always a risk. You know, we're a 92-year-old company. We're a very conservative culture. There's a big need for people coming in and feeling like, hey, these people truly get our culture. They understand us. Everybody thinks they're different. The more you change, the more it stays the same, but everybody thinks that they're unique enough, and we're no exception. So it was important for us that we felt like, hey, we'd had some experiences with speakers in the past that weren't, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were bad or good, but you just always have about half of your crowd, it seems, that, hey, that was great or it wasn't great.
The reason I'm calling is to set an appointment with you because most of the HR executives I speak with understand the impact of recognizing their employees, but they don't have a way to do it that's consistent and measurable. Would you have some time on?
Would you? See, when you say would you, like you're assuming she's going to say no. So give me your because statement one more time.
The reason I'm calling is most HR executives.
The reason you're calling set an appointment.
The reason I'm calling is to set an appointment because most HR executives I speak with understand the impact of appreciating their employees, but they don't necessarily have a way to do it that's consistent and measurable.
And I help people like you.
And I help HR executives like you
solve that problem.
Solve that problem. Would you have?
No. How about?
How about Thursday at 3 o'clock?
How about we get together Thursday at 3 o'clock
Okay.
so I can learn a little bit more about your challenges.
Okay.
Try that.
How about Thursday at 3 o'clock so I can learn more about your challenges?
What do you think? You see the difference there?
So I think what we were really looking for was, can we get somebody who can appeal to 75 or 85%, or find the right content that at least hits the mark with the majority of our people. So what I loved about Jeb's credibility and the ability to go back to our executive team and show them videos on YouTube and show them samples of his training and to be able to say, this is what you're getting. Because really that's what they were looking for, was that peace of mind of, are we gonna bring somebody in that really represents our values and can instill in the people what it is that we would have them say, and not that we're sitting back clenched, hoping the whole time that something's not going to be said that's going to offend people and cause 6 months of fallout afterward. And Jeb did a fantastic job handling the difficult questions, but also keeping people engaged and making people feel like, hey, this is what we need.
You made a very good point in the beginning, and you said that your team uses Zoom Info. Mm-hmm. Can you describe a world where you don't have that type of data? Zoom Info, discover.org, and all that. How is your team operating under those type of circumstances?
I can. You might want to write this down. Got a pen? Google.
Google is not going to give you a list of names, titles.
You asked me to describe a world where you didn't have those data sets. Google.
What's extremely important for us is that it's not a flavor of the week. With a 92-year-old company, there are a lot of people who have been here and been through this type of training 20 times, 25 times, 30 times. And so it's easy for them to say, okay, here we go, here's another year's worth of something. So what's important for us is that we've made investments in sales enablement platforms. We've made investments in software and in services to help us to deliver content to the field. We need that to hit the end of the row, right? We're definitely going to need to continue to engage with the Sales Gravy team to be able to make sure that things are sticky for managers and that they're following up and that they're coaching to these things, and that when they're listening for conversations and spending time, that there's some accountability there. Many of the reps who are leading it said, how can we get this into one place so we can start to refer to it? How can we share the best practices that were there? And the Sales Gravy team was very good from the very beginning to kind of tell us, here's what we can start with, here's what we're going to give you as a part of this, with follow-up videos and with content that we can help with. But there's also a whole bevy of other things that we can do to help to make that sticky for the team. So that's another huge appeal to us, is that it's a team and a partner that will be there with us to progress, and not just, hey, we'll get in on your annual sales meeting and then we'll see you later.
One of the largest deals I ever sold got me to President's Club in Maui. I left them 52 voicemails in a row every day. What's that? Why does that give you anxiety? 52 in a row. Same message every day. Exact same message every day. Your contract is going to expire and you're going to lose your options. We should talk. Simple. Now, think about this for a second. Why does that give you anxiety? Rejection. It gives me, because think about it. You've made up in your head, how the person is responding to the voicemail. But if I want to talk to you, I need to talk to you.
It was amazing to me how much they loved just going through the process of setting up just their flow for their prospecting script and for their voice. You're talking about people who, if you would have begun, you would have asked them, do you need help in this area? Do you think you got this dialed in? They all would have said, no, I don't think that's something that we need. In fact, I reached out to a bunch of our veteran salespeople to say, hey, is this something that you need or something that you could use? And it was, no, we could probably use that time better on something else. And it was not only interesting, but engaging and heartening to see people who've been doing this for a long time step up and say, you're right, even just some wordsmithing here makes a huge difference. Even just thinking about the psychology of why we're saying what we're saying and not just jumping in and doing what we always do was huge. So it was all valuable, but that's when you really saw the lights start to turn on for people and the engagement level really ratcheted up a notch.
Okay, good. So how many is that, Jason?
13.
Okay, there's 13 potential objections. We might add a couple more on there. But if you really think about that, I guarantee you that the top 5 are 80%. And that would be not interested, happy, tried it before, didn't work, budget, too busy. Think about that.
I think when you say it that way, we set it up. We probably couldn't have done many more things to set it up for failure, right? That we're at the very end, everybody's tired, we're on a short day. We originally had planned to have that our second day event, and because of schedules and because of things that happened with us, it ended up getting bumped, and the sales gravy team was so gracious to be able to say, hey, we'll make it work. And all of those things considered, it still went off without a hitch. I mean, if anything, the biggest feedback that I got out in the hall was I wish we would have had a full day. I wish this would have been earlier in the week so that we would have had, that we could have couched a lot of the other thinking, the other things that we would have done from this philosophical perspective.
That's exactly what I thought you would say, and exactly why we should get together. Because what professionals like you are so surprised to learn is just how affordable we make it for you to achieve your goals with retention and stay within a fixed budget. How about we get together Thursday at 2 and I'll show you how. I'm not interested. That's what everybody says before they learn how we're able to bam, bam, bam. How about Thursday at 2? Again, the motion.
I would say without a doubt, I've done a lot of these. I've scheduled a lot of speakers. I've brought in a lot of subject matter experts. I personally feel like Jeb is the thought leader in this space at this time, and has that backed up by best-selling books and things that help him to instantly gain credibility with the field. But from beginning to end, the process was fantastic. It's easy for me to stand up here and make it sound like it's going to be a commercial, but I'm a trainer. This is something that I try to do as well. And it's a big deal to me that I'm not standing in the back of the room saying I could have done that better. And so without a doubt, I would engage. I hope we will engage again. But I wouldn't hesitate to say, not only from the price point and making it affordable for our business, all the way in through the planning and making sure that we had a full understanding, that we were able to get executive buy-off and understanding that process, I'd work with the sales gravy team in a heartbeat.
And if you just focus on this, actions, reactions, and mindset, you'll have complete control over every situation, you'll have complete control over your career, and you'll have a great deal of peace of mind because you won't be worrying about all the stuff that you can't control. You'll be focusing on what you can control. And when it's time to go home, at the end of the day, when you don't want to make any more calls, when you're done, do yourself a favor and pick up the phone and make one more. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So there you have it, Fanatical Prospecting at Double Down 2020. O.C. Tanner, thank you so much for bringing me in. We had a great time dealing with because statements, getting past objections, and learning all about why prospecting is so important and the pipe is life.